Well, hello and welcome to Little State Big Voices with myself, Shahidah, and my fabulous co-host Tracey.
Hey
How you
y'all.
how you feel? I love the shirt. I
Yes,
was rooting for.
I'm doing
Go
Cam
ahead.
Newton. I'm doing Cam Newton because I know you said you
Really?
don't really rock with Brady, so I didn't put on 12. I have 12, but I put on one for you because this is Cam Newton and he used to be our
No,
QB.
you didn't do that for me, sis. You did not do that for me.
Well, you notice it's not number 10. Either way, it's not number 10.
Who's 10?
Drake May.
Oh, you don't like him?
Not tonight. Not after his performance this evening. I do not.
Well, I am probably one of the happiest New Englanders because I was very happy to see them lose.
See,
Very
now that
happy.
just ain't right. But I will say, so for those of you who are just catching up, trying to catch on to what Shahida and I are talking about, today is actually Super Bowl Sunday, and we are recording post game. So you'll get
Right
this
after.
live and direct Monday morning. And the Patriots they didn't show up for work tonight.
Yeah.
That's all
Yeah.
I can say. The
And I
Seahawks
like a
played a
lot of
hell of a game.
I like a lot of Patriots that play on the team, so I'm not gonna if they had one, I wouldn't have been ecstatic about it, but I wouldn't have been mad about it either. But I was very happy that Seattle did what they did all season and showed up. So,
So
now what
yeah.
did you think about the halftime show?
I absolutely loved it. Benito
Mhm.
showed up and
Mhm.
showed out from the fashion to the
Mhm.
choreography to the authentic Caribbean vibes. And even the small details. So,
Mhm.
of course, he didn't sing any English songs.
Mhm.
That didn't
He
bother
doesn't
me.
have any English songs, right?
He has some songs, where he like does a little Spanglish or whatever, but
Mhm.
that's not what he does. And
Mhm.
at the end of the day, it was an amazing performance. It had costumes, it had entertainment, it had choreography. The special guests were Chef's Kiss. He had Cardi B, he had Pedro Pascal, Jessica Alba, Lady Gaga, people. Okay, Lady Gaga pulled up. And the best of all, Ricky Martin. Stop playing.
So that was
Amazing.
Lady Gaga because we had a
Yes,
big
ma'am.
debate on it. She looks incredibly different and not
That
in a
was
great way.
Gaga. Yes, it
That's how
was.
she pronounces her name?
No, that's how the gays say it, honey. The gays call her Gaga.
I'm like, ugh, but
Lady
that
Gaga.
was her.
That was her.
I gotta tell Mia because my daughter-in-law, my son, we were all here and my daughter-in-law and I was saying, yes, that was her. And Mia and my son were saying, no, that was some other singer. And Mia said who the singer was. And I gotta tell her wow, that was her.
That was Gaga, yeah.
Okay. All
Yeah.
right.
But I'd love to hear your take on it. Let's hear what you think, and I'll tell you what I liked about it. Other than that, he's just fine and eye candy, but I'll tell you what I liked about the actual performance. But I'd like to hear your take on it. Honest opinion.
I didn't like it.
Okay.
I love him. And I love that he got to represent his culture at the Super Bowl. So that was fantastic. No, did not like it. I expected at least one song that would have made me that way I would have felt a vibe with. And I feel like whatever his selection was, I don't know because I don't speak Spanish. Whatever his selection was, there was no real bop for me. You know,
Okay.
there was nothing that made me but jump up but I will say the scenery, the set and everything, how they did it, the bodega, the celebrities that came out and represented their culture on stage. I did like that. But as far as like the song selection, even the dance selection, I was really disappointed in that it wasn't like I said, it didn't have the vibe. But you know what? I was saying to my kids, it wasn't for me.
Mhm.
And that's okay. I remember I had this discussion with a friend of mine who's Dominican, and she hated Sinners. And she's like, wanted to walk out of there. I didn't like it or whatever. And I said, you know what? It wasn't for you. Because all the cultural stuff that I mentioned about Sinners just it
He
didn't
didn't connect
resonate
with
with
her.
her. It didn't resonate at all. And I get it. So that's how I felt about this. It wasn't for me. It wasn't bad. I'm definitely not going to take, the Caucasian response to it, but no, no.
Yes.
Compared to last year, where I was up and I felt all the songs and I felt the beat and I wanted to dance to, I didn't get, which I'm surprised because there are some songs like we talked about it. Like, what was that song that was out like years ago? Suavemente.
Yeah.
Kill it, you know? So there are certain songs that I do like, and I expected a vibe like that song represented back in the 90s for me, or there've been a few after that, but that wasn't for me.
And I think too, like Suavemente, that's just a classic. So that's Elvis
Mhm.
Crespo for
Mm,
anybody out there who's like, oh my God, that one song. That's Elvis Crespo. And he's not even that good to look at compared to Bad Bunny. But that is like one of those like Spanish songs that even American DJs will play, like when they're playing a
mhm,
set. But I'll tell you what I loved about. So first of all, he hadn't even come out of the gangway. I don't know what you call that little tunnel. He hadn't come out of the
mhm,
tunnel yet, and I
mhm,
saw his name across the back of his suit.
mhm,
Ocasio is his last name, and it was like a jersey style, cream colored, like oversized blazer. It was giving me Desi Arnaz Jr.
mhm,
vibrations. First of all, the fashion was incredible. The nicely cut pants that were a little wider on the bottom, slightly hemmed, like almost like a high water, to look like a peasant pants with the rope around the waist, like
mhm,
gagged from the fashion alone. Then it was the women doing nails. So like that kind of like city vibe, that Latina vibe of these women who were doing nails. Then there was a bodega. Then there was a woman, an old lady at the bar. She was giving shots and she was taking shots with him. And the little bar was called Conejo, which means rabbit. So there were just like all these little hidden gems. My favorite scene was the little boy asleep at the wedding. And then
mhm,
he woke him up because that to me, I don't know about you, but culturally, that's something that resonates with me. It's like we're gonna party the whole family from the newborn to the 99-year-old. And you know what? It may be 2, 3 in the morning and the baby's gonna be asleep on top of the coats
mhm,
because we all party to get like that. That was so beautiful to me. And then the wedding, that was gorgeous. I loved the stories that he wove into his set. And I was so
mhm,
concerned for him because he was doing Tom Cruise style stunts, climbing up on poles, going on top
mhm,
of buildings, falling through traps. I'm like, Lord, please don't let nothing happen to Benito during his set. But he played not all of his because he actually has songs that didn't get played that are popular. But if you listen to Bad Bunny at all, he did that.
mm, mm,
He did that. So you would have to probably be a fan maybe to fully appreciate it. But I mean, at the end of the day, also shouted out like all of the North American, South American, and I forgot who else. But as soon as he said Honduras, I lost my freaking mind. Did you even hear him
mhm.
say that?
I heard him say Honduras,
Okay,
and
yeah. So
and in
Honduras. But he also said North America. And he also
mhm,
said something like God bless America. Like he really was doing his duty to bring the cultural experience and still respect
mhm.
America. And people still mad at this man.
Yeah, the anger is to me is insane. Like hearing some of the things that people have said, which is why I'm not trying to like because I didn't like it, I'm not saying it in a negative way. It just didn't vibe for me.
Mhm.
Like how you were like so psyched about the fashion. I didn't like what he had on. I didn't like the jacket
Girl, I
cut.
was like this. That was
Yeah. And again, the song, the dancing, none of it really hit for me. But you can't deny that that's a faction of America. That's a piece of America. Those are people from America and they should be represented. I mean, I went to school with a lot of Puerto Ricans, so you understand the culture, a little bit, or at least have and I always feel too, especially when it comes to the Caribbean, Hispanic, those elements or whatever, a lot of that it drove from African culture, which
Yeah.
we as African Americans, we have that too. So we're all kind of connected in certain ways, certain things, like the kid on the kid at the wedding. Maybe that happens in all cultures. I just can't imagine that like an Irish person doesn't have that same type of kind of reference to, with kids falling asleep because they party too. Indians, I can't imagine Indians not having that same type of reference too because they party too. But the hate is the part that, I don't ever want to be
I'll tell you what
misconstrued for.
what makes me laugh is that
Mm,
people are because they're trying to nitpick now because it's not enough to just say I didn't like it. Like you just said I didn't care for it. Wasn't my
mhm,
cup of tea, but I'm cool with it. You know what I mean?
mhm,
Like full transparency, my husband was on a phone call the entire halftime game and I was
mhm,
ice grilling him like how can you be on the phone with your friend when
mhm. But was he talking about the halftime show?
no, he was talking about how terrible the
Uh,
Patriots were doing. They were complaining and
that was his
talking
moment.
strategy for the
Mhm,
second half. But I was just like, how is it that you are not feeling la
mhm,
energía? He wasn't. And I think he
mhm,
was just like you, like, he was like, "Yeah, okay, I can
mhm,
take it or
mhm.
leave it, which is fine. But I think what's interesting is that his detractors are now nitpicking instead of just saying, it wasn't for me. I didn't care for it. I didn't understand it, whatever, whatever. They're saying things like, oh, it was filthy and the gyrations that he was doing. Y'all have Michael freaking Jackson on there. You've had Beyonce. You've had Rihanna. You've had Katy
And they
Perry.
complained about all of them too. They complained about everyone that wasn't a white American. That's the
But
problem. That's the problem.
I did hear that Kid Rock's thing that he was trying to stream on X ended up getting canceled because of licensing issues. I don't know how true that
Oh, was
is.
it on X?
Yeah,
Come
but
on.
they had to cancel the North Carolina show because the lineups dropped out.
But the whole lineup was like old hot dog water. There was no comparison. There was absolutely no comparison. If you wanted old hot dog water or a taco, that's your pick. I don't see any difference between the two.
Yeah.
Ugh. That was and another I mean, like I said, Bad Bunny, it wasn't for me, but I think was it Shania Twain that did that wasn't for me either. I didn't care for it. I didn't
Mhm.
think there was a bop I wanted, and I'm not like a hater of Shania Twain, but I like country music when Beyonce did it. I like country music when Shabuzi does it. I'm not a big fan of like some others. So just because it's not for me, you don't, or just because it's not for you, you don't need to be a hater about it. But that's where we are right now in America,
Yeah, and then
unfortunately.
so people are saying things like, "I want a push for more, getting rid of more illegals after watching this show." Based on what? The man is American. Again, based on what? What are you talking about here?
I'm so disgusted. I'm so disgusted with you. The one thing, and this is gonna be gutter gutter. This is gonna be gutter. I'm sorry, folks, but I'm just gonna take it to the gutter. These MAGA people and these Trump supporters, these people who think that Trump is a man who literally shits himself. They are cucks. That's what they are. Sorry to say it. You don't have anything going for you in your life. Basically, all you have is your whiteness. You're not smart. You're not these manly men that you claim to be because you're afraid of everything and everybody. So all this, I'm a man, but yet you'd rather sit up there and say and with your big old age about little kids or Hispanics being deported because you're mad about a 15-minute Super Bowl. cucks.
If it was even 15, if it was even 15. But at the end of the day, it's like you have the option to watch whatever you want. Famously, some, what, 20 odd, maybe 30 years ago, people switched from the halftime game and guess what they watched instead? In living color. Because they didn't want to watch what was being shown to them at halftime. Get up and use the bathroom. Get up and grab a snack.
And you
Switch
know
the
why they
channel.
didn't like what was being showed during halftime? Because they were boring. Because you know who was the halftime show? White people. And you know what made it to get live? Michael Jackson. So who turned it out? Other people, not
Yeah.
y'all.
So, I mean, to each their own. And I think like the America that used to think I loved was the America that you had choice. You had freedom of choice. And we also respected other people's opinions. You know what I
We are
mean? Agree to
beyond that.
disagree. But yeah, definitely beyond that. What's interesting, 'cause one of our loyal listeners, Teresa, she and I were out this weekend. So we actually, unfortunately, we went to pay our respects at the wake of a young man, Jalen, that passed away tragically. He's the nephew of one of our book club sisters, Donna. And we went to pay our respects to Jalen at his service. And it was like really well attended. You know, we went there, and afterward we decided we were going to go grab a bite to eat. Teresa and I went to a restaurant on the South Shore. So you already know who lives on the South Shore for the most part. What kind of people live on the South Shore? But we went to a restaurant we know and that we like. That actually we had an amazing meal. But we decided to sit at the bar, watch the Celtics game, and the Celtics won that night. Not like tonight. And this guy kept trying to buy us drinks all night. And Teresa and I were like, no, thank you, no, thank you, no, thank you.
Mhm.
White guy, middle age. Finally, he just walked his tail over because we were not accepting these drinks from him. So he decides he's going to strike up a conversation with him. And when I say, and Teresa can correct me if I'm wrong, we spoke to him probably for an hour or so. We got
Mhm.
engaged in conversation with him, started talking back and forth. And he's like building his case why he's such an amazing guy, this, that, and the third. He
Mhm.
couldn't believe Teresa's real age, which nobody would. That all everything was going smoothly. And Teresa and I looking at each other, waiting for the other shoe to drop. Mind you, we're in our original seats. We haven't gotten up to go anywhere.
Mhm.
He came over to us. So slowly but surely, it comes out he's a police officer. Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah. All right. So he's like, I was afraid to say that to you women because I thought it would change how you think about me. And Teresa
Mhm.
and I just locked eyes and I'm like, here it comes. Here it
Mhm.
comes. And sure
Mhm.
enough,
Mhm.
he showed himself and started
Mhm.
talking about people coming to this country and getting
Mhm.
more than they deserve.
Mhm. Mhm.
And that it's not fair to any of us, including us.
Mhm.
And Teresa and I went full Ayanna Presley. We went full
Mhm.
Jasmine Crockett. We did all the things on him. And at the end of the conversation, as it started to wind down, he says, but I'm not a racist. Girl, when he ever said, but I'm not racist.
Did he did you all even bring up the fact that these billionaire foreigners who have come to our country and buying our country, all the money that he claims that foreigners, illegal immigrants are taking is actually going to places like Israel, Venezuela.
So
I
I think
mean,
Teresa touched on that, but he actually said something about benefits, as in SNAP. He didn't say those words, but he alluded to it. And as
mhm,
soon as that came out of his mouth, I said, I'd rather people come from another country and get it than Brett Favre. And that shut his ass up. And he
yeah,
actually was like, you know what? I can't even argue with that. He
no,
couldn't even
you
argue
can't.
with it.
Because illegal people can't even get SNAP. And he, as a police officer, you would think would be smart, but they're not. They're not. It's like you read a headline, you read a lead, you read something on social media, but you don't read a fucking book. You
And
don't
he,
read how the country actually works.
and he just stood 10 toes down on he's not racist. And I said, sir, I hate to break it to you, but you are. And I told him a couple of times, and he kept trying to
Mhm,
argue back with me. And I said, first of all, most people are prejudiced. Let's just not even let's say racism, but most people have prejudices. And that's you, that's me, that's everybody at this bar has
mhm, and it's a you problem.
but that's also how we survive.
Mhm,
Prejudice is how you survive as a species. You
mhm,
have to have like preconceived notions to fucking stay alive. You know, it's
mhm,
how what you do with that information that's in here. You're supposed to weigh it with common sense. And he's
mhm.
just like pushing back. Well, my wife is Chinese, sir. Again, I was
That's
like,
the
none of that.
why are you out here buying drinks for women?
That part, then that part. Then he tried to pull back and was like, "Yeah, but we're our marriage is kind of on the rocks." He wanted me and Teresa so badly. He just was the stereotypical
Mhm.
middle-aged man. And then when he ever dropped the bomb that he's younger than both of us, me and Teresa were like, "This man looks like
Well, that's not
something
a surprise.
something
That's not
warmed
a
over."
surprise.
Okay, yeah, it was.
That's not a surprise.
But my parting words to him were, "Sir, if ICE comes to your town, I better not find out you was helping them." I was like, "I better not find out you was helping them." But he
Mhm, well,
promised
you
me that
know he will.
if I'm ever in his town and I get pulled over to name drop him, I'm like, "If they let me, if I'm not in the chokehold first, I'll definitely drop your name."
What town is he in?
Did I say?
I mean, I'm
He's
not
in
asking his name, his town.
Yeah, he's in the town of Norwood, where he grew up, and
Okay.
he's now a police officer.
Because I just thought it was gonna be some like Stoughton or Randolph because they have so many
Girl,
problems
we I
sharing.
even throughout the Karen Reed case, we had a
Mhm,
very deep conversation, and it wasn't a bad conversation. Like, I didn't walk away from it stunned that he had the
mhm.
opinions that he had. And then he kind of was like, I don't believe the left or the right. He was trying to like, you know,
You can't middle
so,
road it.
and
It's one or the other.
I was trying to break it down to him, but what I learned at the end of the day is that both at this bar, restaurant, and also at the service that we had been at earlier the day, we met two white men. It was so crazy because we met two white men about the same age group with kids that were like, high school age, late teens. And they both, at the end of the day, were just like saying how much they loved their children and this, that, and the third, and showing a very human side to themselves. But then there was just that undercurrent of, damn, you would be so much of a better human being, and your kids probably would be better human beings if you weren't so fucked up in your head about what you think about other cultures. That right there
Yeah.
would solve 50 to 75% of the problems you have with your own kids.
Mhm,
If
mhm.
you just had an emotional compass, that was the other thing. Emotional intelligence was highly lacking in both of these men. They just didn't
Mm,
have it. They were so busy trying to be mask and trying to be manly and,
mhm,
whatever. And then the fact that, he thought him telling us that he was a cop would, we'd think poorly of him. I'm like, I just met you. I don't know you. I know what your colleagues have been doing and what has been shown to me. I referenced Rodney King. I referenced the Charles Stewart case. I'm
mhm,
getting all mixed up. So, and he just nodded his head. He didn't argue. He didn't
mhm,
try to push back on that. The only thing that, that concerned me really was just this insistence that he's not racist and that his colleagues are not racist, which I'm like, sir, even if you were the only one who wasn't, I damn sure know your colleagues are, and I damn sure know up in Walpole, the police chief up there is one of the biggest racists that there is. So
mhm,
allegedly, I'll put that in,
mhm,
allegedly, from what I heard from my white friends, what they've told
mm,
me. So, and I told him, I said, you got spies on the inside of your house that are telling me the stuff that goes on at y'all little barbecues when we're not
mhm,
there. So don't try to convince me otherwise. But it was just a thing where I said, we all have preconceived notions. And the more he got to learn about Teresa and I, because he was asking questions, we were
mhm,
talking.
mhm,
It started off talking about like his kids or whatever, and we're talking about parenting. But the more he learned about Teresa and I, the more he wanted to spend time with us. His friends were on the other side of the bar. He left them.
mhm,
He left
mhm.
them by themselves for like
A married man.
that part. And we made it clear he had no chance with either one of us. Because
Mm,
A, we're both married. B, we would never, because you're not
mhm.
even the type for neither one of us.
But it's like one is the audacity, but two, I always say if you have to constantly claim you are not something, that's what you are.
I begged him to stop saying that. I said, I make this the last time you ever say that out loud. He's like, why? But I'm not. Because, sir, the more you say that, the more I know that I know that I know you're racist and don't want to own
'Cause
that
you would
shit.
just have a conversation and it would be about culture and it would be about accepting other cultures. You just went straight into illegals being here. I
Mm.
would love to know what his last not I'm asking for his last name, but what his last name, if he was an Irish man or an
Well, I know what his
Italian
last
man.
name was, and he is Irish.
So, the audacity, especially and it infuriates me, especially Massachusetts Irish people, because there are so many illegal Irish people. Ask him that. Are you
So
okay with the illegal Irish
listen,
people being pulled up out of this
I
country?
got you, girl, because
Good.
I went there. I said, what I find interesting is that who is getting picked up is not anyone that looks like you. It's more often than not someone who looks more like me or more on my spectrum of melanin. Why is it
Mhm,
that we don't see the Canadians getting grabbed up who overstayed their welcome? They're very close to Minneapolis. You're telling me
mhm.
nobody came from
But
Canada
right
and
here in Massachusetts.
overstayed? Oh, yeah, and right here. They come for school, they come to work, they come for whatever reason. It's a 6-month visa usually.
Mhm,
And
mhm,
people overstay their welcome. It's not that unusual, actually. And
mm-mm,
while people are trying to figure their life out, but one thing that I said to him, and I don't know if I made anything connected with this man whatsoever. I said, "Let me tell you something," and I will be candid. I'm like, "You don't even really deserve this information, but I'm gonna tell it to you anyway." My father was deported. And he was
mhm,
deported legally. He wasn't ripped off the streets.
mhm,
He had due process and he was deported. And he accepted that. And he took his ass back home. And he
mhm,
actually was like, you know what? I'm good here. I'm not even
mhm,
trying to come back to America. I'm straight in my country. But I
mhm.
said at one point, Honduras was the murder capital of the world. So do you think that people who come here genuinely seeking asylum because their lives are potentially endangered, do you not think they deserve an opportunity? I said, let me ask you a question. You better not, go back there and go check, but there's probably people in that kitchen right now who made this amazing food and these amazing little appetizers that we're
Mhm,
enjoying that are on the brink of having to go back home.
mhm,
Because
mhm,
that's who's usually in the kitchen. That's who's usually cleaning your hotel room. That's who's usually parking your car when you go to the Bruins game or whatever. The people that you are ignoring on a daily basis and don't even see because they're not even getting on your radar. If Thanos snapped his finger and those people were gone, what would you do? You wouldn't even know what to do with yourself because there'll be no one to clean up after you.
but he knows and he sees those people. He sees those people all the time, especially in his profession, because what does he does? He looks at those people and then those are the people that he decides I need to like maybe pull that person over because of the melanin in their skin. And which is crazy because of course he's going to say he's not racist, but he definitely assesses people based on the color of their skin, not the content of their character.
According to him, and this is a direct quote, he treats
Mhm,
everyone
mhm,
in his line of duty as he would treat his own grandmother. I told Teresa when we were texting when we got back home, I was like, I'm home. I said, for all I know, he'll pistol whip his own grandma. I don't know that man, and I don't know how
mhm,
he treats his grandma. So say you
mhm.
treat everybody like your grandma. I don't know your relationship with that woman. So
And you notice too, a lot of men who claim to not like legals have an immigrant wife. And especially a lot of notice, especially in Massachusetts, a lot of white men who ride that fence a lot marry Asian women.
and
That
and
I
he
have, like, in the workplace that I have seen that be the case.
so when he said the marriage is a little on the rocks, I was like, probably because of your attitude towards people who are not from this country. Like,
Mhm,
yes, she's Chinese and she's a little higher up on the minority rung by
mhm,
American standards. At the end of the day, she's still not from here. And I
mhm,
do want to add I saw an amazing post someone posted, and it said, "Bad Bunny's more American than your first lady." I wanna
She
repeat that.
100%.
I
A
wanna repeat it.
100%. But that goes to show you how
The
Americans are
hypocrisy.
ignorant. No, how they're just ignorant of their own history, how they're just ignorant of other countries that are related to us, and we only just recently got Hawaii within the last 50, 60 years.
Yeah.
And Puerto Rico was what? A part of it. They don't want to be part of the United States, and I don't blame them.
They're a territory because
Mhm.
of colonialism.
Mhm.
And just like, this man talking about his Chinese wife, this, that, and the third, and he did say Chinese. I'm not making her Chinese. He said Chinese, not me. I was just like, slave owners had black concubines forced, of course. So that doesn't mean anything. You can still be
Mhm.
a racist and married to a woman from another country, another
Because
ethnicity.
you
It
know
does
what is
not
a part of white culture? Rape.
exactly what we're talking about here.
So you raping anybody from any other culture, one of the worst things that people hate when the American military comes to their country is the amount of our men raping those women in those other countries.
Mm.
It's very, very popular.
It's a war strategy.
But I mean, you're not at war. So a lot of times it's just, friendly occupation.
Awful. And I
And
don't say that lightly. I'm just saying
mhm,
that it's by design. It's not random.
it's
It
a who they
even
because they feel a lot that women are beneath them, whether even their own, but a lot
go a step
way to
further.
feel strong and manly is to take.
I'll go a step further to your point. I know women enlisted in the military who were
Yeah.
raped by their own colleagues within the military,
It's a huge problem in the
and all
military.
they do is cover it up. They cover it up, they
Yep.
sweep it under the rug. I mean, like brutal sexual assault by their own colleagues who are supposed to be on their side
Yep.
of things. So that reminds me of another thing I saw online where someone posted that slavery is white history and survival of slavery is black history. I was like, "Oh,
Mhm.
we're getting
Yep.
all the gems for Black History Month."
Mhm.
I was like, that is
I've
so
seen that
true.
many times over many years, and it is no truer statement. We
That's
have
not
gone
our
off on a
history
tangent.
because we didn't bring that. We didn't do it. We didn't want it. We didn't ask for it. And like at the end of the day, things like the Bad Bunny performance, like you said, it's just a moment. It's just 15 minutes that, you can look at it or look away. You don't even have to watch the Super Bowl. Let's be real. That's not even the thing you have to watch.
There's millions of cultures in this country. Thousands of cultures, probably not millions, but thousands of
Yeah,
cultures in this country, and Hispanic is a large group.
it is.
They needed to have I wish that Cardi B had performed. I think that would have
She
saved
looked
it.
incredible too.
She
She
did,
looked
she looked gorgeous.
fabulous.
And that would have probably saved it for me, but then somebody
Mm.
said, "Well, Dominicans and Puerto Ricans don't really get
Yeah,
down like
no,
that."
she
And I'm
couldn't
like,
do that. She couldn't do that. Mm-mm, mm-mm, mm-mm. She
but
couldn't.
I
She
would have
couldn't do
loved
it.
to me, it would have saved it because it
I'm gonna
needed
tell you.
something more for me.
I'll tell you what was missing.
What?
Bruno Mars, who is half Puerto Rican and would have
Mhm.
crushed that shit because the song that Lady Gaga sang, I think they either couldn't get him
I
or
still can't
something.
believe that was her.
That song she sang is a
It's
song
his song,
she
yeah.
did with Bruno Mars.
Mhm.
So I feel like the plan was to get Bruno Mars. This is all in my head. I have no proof of any of this. I haven't done any
Mhm,
research.
mhm.
I think they wanted Bruno Mars and didn't get him for whatever reason. So instead, they brought Lady Gaga. And I also think it does have some undercurrent of a little bit of jab at Cardi. I mean, not Cardi. Beg pardon, Cardi. Much respect to you, Queen. I'm sorry you're not going to be on our duck boat. A poke at Nicki because Nicki is out here getting real feisty at the mouth about gay people,
Mhm.
calling them the F word and stuff. So what
Isn't
bigger
that her whole fan base? Not her whole, but
it's
isn't
like
that like a good
85% of
portion?
her fan base. So good luck
Mhm.
with that, girl.
Mhm.
I think that bringing someone who is a huge beacon for the gay community, Ricky Martin and Lady Gaga, I think that was the nod to
Mm,
we're inclusive. So the inclusivity was you had Ricky Martin, who's openly gay, Lady Gaga, who is well known to be like that girl in the gay culture, and then you
mhm,
had a beautiful representation of skin tones throughout the dancers, the
mhm,
actors in the whole performance. He had the spectrum of skin tones showing that Puerto
mhm,
Rico is not just white presenting people.
mhm,
Puerto Rico
mhm,
is light skin, is dark skin, is coarse hair, it's straight hair, it's women, it's children, it's the
mhm,
elderly. He had all ages there. He had a little boy that looked as young as 5 or 6 years old, and he had a woman there that looked to be like she would be someone's abuela, their
mhm,
grandmother. So,
mhm.
although the songs may not have done it for you, the performance part of it, I give it 5 stars because I just think that it was well thought out.
Mm, 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 yeah. Okay, I'll take that.
That's my take on it. But,
Mhm,
at the end of the day, the Celtics also lost today. So I was like, we can't possibly lose the Super Bowl because the Celtics lost terribly
mhm.
today to my arch nemesis, the Knicks. I'm like, are you for real right now?
I heard that they were playing. I did not catch. I had, like, a
Blowout.
crazy
A
wow.
blowout. We got blown out twice. How am I supposed to show up to work tomorrow? I didn't talk past shit, okay? The amount of shit
Mhm,
I talked at work about the Patriots. And now I gotta come into the team meeting
mhm.
looking crazy. Y'all done made me look crazy, and we don't get Cardi B on the duck boats. Not fair.
Oh,
Not
why
fair
won't
to
she be
me.
on the duck boat? It was too damn
Because
cold, one.
because we'd have to win to get
Oh,
the
yeah, I forgot.
parade to get
Yeah,
Cardi B on the duck
yeah,
boats going down Boylston Street, which we're not
I
gonna get
forgot.
now.
It's
Thanks,
too damn
Drake May.
cold.
Thank you.
There's another Patriot wife, and I don't know, somebody said her name was JoJo or
Is she like
something.
light skinned, like kind of look
She's light
Spanish?
skinned, she's from the South. No, she doesn't look Spanish. Well, I guess maybe she could look Spanish, but she's from the South. She's from, like, Alabama or
So I did see a young
Georgia.
woman. I don't remember her name. Forgive me for not knowing her name. I can look it up and repost the video. But she said that there was good soul food hiding at a skating rink in Boston. And I was like, I got to watch this video immediately. And it turns out that there was apparently at Chez Vu, you can get cornbread, you can get candied yams, you can get
Mhm.
greens. I'm like, when did Chez Vu start serving that?
Girl, I had a dream about Shevu like 2 weeks ago. I mean, and maybe
Really?
not that long because I still remember it. I don't know why I was dreaming about Shevu, but I was just like, what was the dream? I can't remember what the dream was, but I know I woke up thinking, "Oh my god, I wonder if Shevu is still there, if I should go in like,
Apparently it's
I
there.
love getting on roller skates. And I would
It's
love,
there.
like, how Georgia does their, like, dance parties. I would love to go to a roller skating rink and have a party like that. That's cute. Oh, I didn't know that they were selling food like that. Is it fried chicken too?
I will repost the video. I'm almost sure she had chicken as well. Because when I was going to Shevu back in my day in the '80s, when I wasn't supposed to be there and I was
Mhm.
sneaking over there, all they had was fries and hamburgers
Pizza.
and yeah, pizza.
That's
Like
all
it
I
was
had was
very
pizza.
basic. So I guess
Mhm.
maybe whoever the new management or new ownership is has revamped. And now I'm intrigued. Your girl's intrigued, and I would like to go see what the happenings are. My niece actually had her birthday there over the fall, but I had
Mhm.
COVID, so I missed the
Okay.
opportunity to go. But
I would
it's
love
still
to see
there.
how it looked.
So
Looks
you
inside.
heard it here first. Shahita's next birthday celebration is going to be at Shevu.
I did not say that. You might see me in the summertime. You're not gonna see me. I
Hmm.
might roll up there. What was it? What's the last time I've been roller skating? It's been about maybe 5 years since
Well,
I've
we
been
have a
on
good
skates.
skating place here, a popular one, United Skates of
Yeah,
America here in
and
Rhode
that was the
Island.
last one. I used to go, like, probably, like, every weekend when my kids were younger. They used to love to go. Then I took Darius a couple of times. So the last time I think I took Darius was maybe, like, 3, 5 years ago, between 3 and 5 years ago.
And they do a lot of really great themes. So they've done
Mhm.
a Beyonce night. They've done like they do a lot of great themes. And I keep
But they
saying
need to upgrade.
I haven't been there. I haven't
They
really
need to
been.
upgrade. They need to upgrade. It needs to 1, they need a better sound system. The sound
Okay.
system is not great. I mean, if for kids it is, but if you really wanna get adults in there, and I know that they have, like, some of those theme nights, but the sound system is not good.
Okay.
The floor could be a little bit better. I mean, when I look at the skating rinks of, like, places around the states, in different states, it's fly, the lights, everything, it makes
Skate
you.
culture in other
Yeah.
places is different. It's just different. Like if you think of a movie like Roll Bounce, it's not the
Mhm,
most modern, and obviously it was a period
mhm,
film, so set back in the day. But that's just the vibe. Like that is the gathering
mhm.
spot. That is the spot. And the thing with Chez Vu, unfortunately, like especially when we were growing up, it was marred by so much violence.
Yeah,
So I think it could have grown into something like that if people weren't afraid to go. And I know people went consistently. Then they had their episodes where they were talking about maybe we'll have to close down. I feel like Shayla's been
yeah.
closing down since I was a teenager. But thank
Mhm.
thank goodness they have been able to persevere under new ownership or whatever has been going on. But
What
it's
was the
just not the culture.
what
Yeah.
was the one in Fenway? Fenway, that was a good spot, but it did not last long either.
Roll
No, it began like spinoffs. It was
spin-offs.
spinoffs. It was
I know it was
spinoffs.
spin roll. It was some
Yeah,
kind of
that was very cool because it was just like, all window space. So and then it was round. It was cool,
I
but
never went
it
there.
wasn't as cool as Chez Vu.
Because
Spinoffs was
Shabu was
cool,
where
but
all the cute boys
Shavu was
were.
cooler because it was in the hood, it was all the neighborhood people, that music was always on point because it was what you wanna hear. At spinoffs, it was more pop, so, you had a mixture. Spinoffs was Kiss 108 and Shavu was WILD. So.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. So it was pop music versus R&B.
Mhm,
And the thing that was so crazy about Chez Vu was like the irony of it all, and it just kind of is like speaks to the environment and the era is that Chez Vu is on a street that is only yay big. So let's start with that. They're like
mhm,
it's not very big at all. It's less than a quarter of a mile, the length of the street it's on.
and the police
Directly
station is right there.
Directly across the street is the police station, and too many people got murdered in there for the police station to
That's
be
wild,
right there,
wild.
right there. And my mother did
Alright.
not want me there. Did not want me in there, but your girl was in there looking for boys. Oh my God, the finest boys on skates.
I actually went to spinoffs more than I did Chez Vu because during that time, I was a bookaholic. So my Saturday nights, I don't care, and I'm the only child too. I don't mind being by myself. Most of my friends were 8 o'clock, they were going there. And if I started reading something earlier that day, I'm not coming. I wasn't going. I did read a lot. Believe it or not, I still I was still pretty
I read
popular.
a
I had a
lot of
lot of
books
friends,
too, but
but I
when it
was
was
not.
time, mm-mm.
Nope, nope, nope.
I
It was
read the books
easy for
too.
me to stay home on a Saturday night, easy. I'm still the same way. I'm
I
still the
was a,
same way.
I was like, I'm not trying to throw shade, but not much has changed, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. That's it. But yeah, I read
Oh,
a lot
no,
of books too,
I am okay with the homebody that is Shahida.
but
Okay with it.
I was a bit boy crazy in the 80s. So
I had my moments. I mean, I had my moments, but I wasn't too crazy. But one of the things I mean, okay, we got the Super Bowl out of the way. Great halftime show. I'm glad, you enjoyed it. But you know what has been on my mind, and we just have to touch it. I mean, don't dance because it's like a serious thing.
okay,
Savannah Guthrie's mother. Have
yes,
you? That is the wildest story. That is, I mean, of course, we have all kind of craziness going on here,
I'm
but
glad that you brought it up. Yeah,
because it's like the wildest story that is out here. One thing is like someone was pointing out, one of the things that we don't have much of is kidnappings anymore. Like, big name kidnappings. And I wouldn't even call her a big name because Savannah Guthrie, I mean, you know her from the news, but she's not huge.
So to your point, I was having this conversation with my mother because she mentioned it, and it's been a week, which is terrible
A
because
week, yeah.
the longer someone is missing, the less likely you are to find them safe and alive.
Mhm,
So, definitely I hope for everyone's sake that this woman is found and returned to her family because Savannah Guthrie has siblings and they are distraught. They are openly on
mhm,
television, like extremely distraught. Their mother was stolen from her own home.
mhm,
But what I said to my mother is like, why them? That's the thing that I can't get out of my head. Why this family of anybody is because it just doesn't seem like for money, like you could have kidnapped so many other people's parents or children or whatever. Like you said, Savannah Guthrie is famous, but she's not the most like why this particular family? So there was an FBI expert that was giving, and she was a woman, so I kind of was like more likely to believe some of the things she was saying because she's thinking logically. She's a woman. And she said that it's probably a fan or a stalker of Savannah Guthrie who's
mm.
trying to get her attention because money hasn't been like the motivator in the negotiations.
No,
Well,
there have been
there have been
2,
offers,
and
but
then they have until tomorrow to pay a ransom. So, they missed the first ransom, deadline, which it was the day that they gave their plea on her and her, siblings. So, they missed that, and it was crypto. They wanted both paid in
the other
crypto.
thing, like
Well, that makes sense because it can't
it's
be
not
traced.
traceable. Right. It's not traceable, but it's just goofy. Like the whole thing is goofy. Like it just doesn't make a lot of sense. So I don't know if they're just not sharing a lot of information and this woman
Probably
knows
not.
something we don't know.
Mhm.
But she was saying that money just doesn't seem to be the reason. Even though they're asking for it,
Mhm.
it doesn't
Mhm.
seem to be the reason for it. And then the other piece is like, okay, they had camera access, so they're already botching the case because there was camera access on the neighbors and they didn't get to that till day 3, which is
Mhm.
insane. But it just is like, why this woman, like why this
Mhm.
particular lady? Just I don't, it's something is not right.
Well, my first thought too, and I hate to be like throwing things out there because, I like after the fact and you get some facts. I don't want to be part of the problem of just throwing out opinions. But I immediately, just like the FBI person, thought maybe it's a fan of hers that's
Yeah.
into stalking, and she has, and one way you can get through her is through her mother because her mother has been on the show quite often.
And that could
So,
be it. That could be where
mhm,
they got to see this lady at all. And my mom, so my mother's like, well, they should have had someone watching that woman. I said, what are you talking about? Like, she's like, well, why couldn't they have live-in help for her? And I said to my mom, I said, maybe she doesn't need live-in help. My mom, first of all, my mother's 80, talking about this 84-year-old needs live-in help. I'm
mhm,
like, you don't have live-in help. Not that I can afford it, but I'm just saying, like, even if I had millions of dollars in my head, I'd be like, my mom is so competent, she doesn't need living help. Maybe I would send somebody to clean her house, but she
yeah,
doesn't need anyone sleeping overnight with her. And this
yeah.
woman, who knows how many times she opens the door, packages come, she gets flowers for her birthday, whatever. Someone rang her doorbell. I don't even, she probably just opened the door and was like, hey, how you doing? We're here to fix the cable. We're here to clean the pool. She probably opens the door for strangers all the time and didn't think anything of opening the door to whoever came and got her. But the other thing is, where's her ring camera? She doesn't have a ring cam? Like,
So it was disabled. And so it was disabled. The way I heard it was basically especially when I first heard it, was that they took her out of bed. So I don't know if the doorbell was even rung, and then she answered the door. It sounded like they may have broken in. But I can't say 100%, but I do know that the ring cam was disabled, and she was actually looking for something for the back of her house, I think. she was on online saying that she wanted, something to catch the animals night. So maybe she was hearing things. I don't know. But she did have a housekeeper, and she did have someone come in, I guess probably with her meds, because apparently she can't even walk like, 80 yards without being too tired.
And she's on medication, which means
She's
she's
on medication,
probably not getting her medication for a whole week.
and
Also
that's what they
not
were
good
saying.
for this lady, this poor lady. But I'm a poor, okay? And I have
Mhm.
2 cameras on my house.
Mhm.
And and maybe they're in a place where they leave their doors unlocked and howdy neighbor and all of that. I don't really know. Maybe she never felt the need for this ever, but I definitely don't want to blame the victim, and I hope that the outcome is positive and not, the
Yeah.
worst. But look, we also had little.
It was disabled. If I don't
How it was
know,
disabled is the other thing I'm trying to
that's what I'm
understand.
saying. It's like you have to go online to disable it. So
Right,
who had
because it's
access to
should
her
be hardwired.
information to go online to change her information to disable it for that amount of time? So that seems very planned out.
Premeditated, exactly. So it's like if someone took it up, because my Ring doorbell, you would have to walk up to it to rip it off, like you said, or you'd have to go online and disable it. That's the only way. Now I could
Mhm.
see if somebody walked up to it and covered it or spray painted it, you'd
No, I
still
think
have
they
that
did it
footage.
online.
Right. So how? You know what I mean? How did they
Mhm.
hack that? That takes a lot of planning. And
Mhm.
like this was not something, it doesn't sound like it was something that just was random. And that's the other thing they were saying is doesn't seem like a robbery because I don't think anything of value was taken. And normally with robberies, apparently they don't kidnap. That's not
Mhm.
usually the
Mhm.
profile.
No, this was
So
definitely the intent was to kidnap.
this specific woman, which again, it
Mhm.
sounds super random.
Mhm.
But I now that you're saying that her mom had come on the show,
Many
maybe
times she
someone
had been
saw
on the
her.
show.
Yeah, and right now Savannah should be in Europe at the Winter Olympics along with her co-host, and they're both, staying put until they get word. And I just also wanted to bring up that little John's son also went missing literally the same week and was found deceased. And that was
What?
awful. Yes. So that
Little
happened
John the
literally.
singer?
Yes, the
What
rapper Lil
happened?
Jon, his son, who's in his 20s, left the house. I guess he was having some sort of episode. It wasn't really clear. I imagine it was maybe mental health or some
Mhm.
kind of episode. He left the house, I believe, without without his phone, and I'm not sure if he had shoes on. So it was like in a state of undress without his phone, and then he was found drowned or in a body of water. I don't know if he was drowned, but he was found deceased in a body of water. This all was happening the same week. That was coming into my feed, but again, some I'm sure Savannah Guthrie's mom was dominating people's feed,
Well,
but that
I
did
did
happen.
see Little John posting pictures, and he was with his son, like, as
Yes.
baby, and I was like, "Oh my god," I didn't and that was so I did not I probably didn't read the caption, or no,
Yeah.
I think he said, "I love you, son," so I didn't make the connection. I had no idea that
Yeah.
so you're saying he was kidnapped, or he just had
No,
a
he
or
left.
we just don't know?
The way it was made to sound, just from what I've read and saw online, is that he left the house under, like, he was upset or something like
Okay.
that. So he left the house, left his phone, and then he was found in a body of water deceased. So
That's
there's so
so
many
sad.
unanswered questions
Yeah.
there. Yeah, that was really sad, especially him being a young person. But, and not to make comparisons because their lives are both equally valuable and
Yeah,
precious.
definitely, and
But
he's
this
20
young,
years old.
yeah, in his 20s, this young Black man also went missing literally the same week. And the exposure for that definitely was not as much.
Well, I think it's a big difference when one person is taking, out of their home
Yeah,
and one person walks out. There's a
right.
huge difference in
Yeah,
that. I mean, that sounds like, he could have been suicidal. There's a lot involved in it.
yeah,
There's too many unknowns on her side. So I get it.
yeah.
But we also know how the media does as well. But unfortunately on that, we're just going to have to close it down because it is what? It is 11:30 30?
Y'all, Shahida is hanging for y'all. Y'all don't
I'm
understand the
girl,
sacrifices this woman is making for y'all. Y'all need to
I
come
am
into our
not a
comments. You need to come into our comments and you need to show Shahida some love for staying up till 11:30 in the PM just to bring y'all content. Sweet, sweet content.
yeah, yeah. Please praise me. I know I am tired. I have been up since 5.
Okay.
I had
So
my granddaughter all weekend. She was
I
giving me the business. She was like, "We haven't seen each other in at least a month, lady. Oh, you've been too busy for me. I am gonna ride you the entire weekend."
love it. I love it for my girl.
So
Grandma
I
time
am
with time.
exhausted. Yeah, it was a good. I got to see my little baby Halo. He's so adorable. So, and then we were teasing because we was just like, Halo looks like he has a Mexican abuelo because he looks like a little Mexican baby. I'm like,
Oh,
Coco, he's so cute. He's so cute.
too
What?
funny.
So anyway, but with that, we will wrap up
Yes,
this
you know.
this.
And y'all know where to find us. We are on the same social media platforms we've been rocking with for the last year, Instagram and Facebook. Shahida and I are both on Substack, so feel free to look for us individually as people there. We haven't brought the Little State Big Voices over there, but we might have to do something over
I'm
there on
on
Substack.
Substack. I know I have
Are
like
you
a
not on
writing.
Substack? I could be
I
making
don't.
that up. I thought you were on there.
I don't know. I have to check and see. I know I have been saying I wanted to get on Substack because there's
Okay,
a lot of
maybe
writers
that's
that
it.
I follow.
Maybe that's what it was. You were planning on
But
it.
I plan on it. So yeah, I will like drop us in there and I make us a little state big voices of stack as well because I have some
Let's
other things
go.
type out
And
anyway.
today, our streaming platform is acting right, so you will actually find us again on YouTube, a fresh packaged
Yeah.
episode on
Yeah.
YouTube.
I think it was the headphones.
I think honestly, it was also I had deleted the app and restarted the app completely
Mhm.
fresh
Mhm.
and updated and all that stuff. So I think we're good. We're also on Apple Podcasts. We prefer that you go there first to look for us, YouTube and Apple Podcasts, and then we are also
iHeartRadio.
iHeartRadio and anywhere podcasts are heard. Really,
Yep. But if you want to see us, definitely on YouTube
yes.
or Spotify, but
Yeah.
yeah, meh. Well, have a great week. It is what the third week of February, so time is flying by, and it's
Yeah.
only what 28 days. 28
Well,
days.
yes.
Yeah, time is
Yes. Keep
going.
keep the Black History train going. Keep
Yes, please.
sharing things. Supporting us is one way to create future Black history.
Hmm.
Supporting Black businesses. Do all of that stuff. Like, share,
And
follow,
please,
support.
yes, and let us know what you thought about the halftime.
Yeah.
I
My
would like to know if there are others who felt. I know there are a lot of people who loved it, but
Don't
I
be
would
scared.
like to know if there are others that felt like I did. Like it was okay, but it wasn't their cup. It just didn't hit it for them.
And don't
Don't
be
make me
scared.
be
I'm
the
not
only one.
sensitive. It's not gonna hurt my feelings if you didn't like it. I know I liked it.
So, anyway, till next time, have a great week and we will talk to you later. Peace
Until
out.
then.